Hi everyone, it's Daniel here. Today I will be doing my second part to my watching review. So without further ado, let's begin. I won't be using footage from series 5 to 7 because I don't want to spoil anything. And if anyone wants to watch the whole series, I recommend they do that and then come back to this review. So yeah, anyhow, let's begin. So where were we last time? Right, so little catch up here. Series 1, Malcolm and Brenda meet. Series 2, they their relationship gets sticky. However, they luckily make up and luckily move on. Series 3, Pamela and David get married. Then they have a daughter called Sarah. At the start, well, get introduced to it at the start of Series 4. Series 4, a new character comes in, Chris, who works for Malcolm at his garage, and yeah, basically, Chris and Brenda get caught kissing by Pamela, and then Brenda has to confess to Malcolm, which doesn't end up well. However, they get back together and luckily forget about the whole thing. So yeah, that's cool. Auntie Peggy, she appears a little bit more in series 4, and she ends up giving Malcolm and Brenda her house, which in series 5 that's pretty much the main location. Auntie Peggy's house for the first half of series 5, I think. And well, we get introduced to a new character played by the brilliant Ken Jones, who played Horrible Ives in Porridge, Uncle Bernard, Auntie Peggy's husband, which he's trying to hide himself. He hides around the house whilst um, whilst Marjorie has a look around the house because she thinks something's going on, and she keeps thinking Brenda's having men round the house. Well, around Auntie Peggy's house when really it's Uncle Bernard, which he ends up calling himself Yogi Bear to hide his identity, and then she's like Yogi Bear, and it's just it's just hilarious, and he's a really funny character, and I wish he appeared more. Marjorie suspects someone is in that house because shaving cream. Also in series 5, Malcolm meets Lucinda, who comes round to dinner at David and Pamela's house, and Malcolm falls for her. Ends up leaving Malcolm, which is really sad. However, Malcolm finds a new happy life with Lucinda. They get married. Brenda finds out, and she misses the wedding, which really sad scene. They wave to each other. She's just in the back, just there, and you can just feel the heartbreak. They've been through so much, and then Malcolm meets this new woman and marries her. Yeah, series 5. It had stuff from series 1 to 4, um, but it was the last series to have Oswald, who I forgot to mention, the cafe owner. He's just known as the cafe assistant in the first few series, I think. I'm not sure, the early series, and then we actually find out his name later on, Oswald, played by Dave Dutton. He's brilliant, and yeah, I've actually subscribed to his YouTube channel because he's awesome, and his character of Oswald is really funny. Like the no, was it the bacon butty situation? That was funny. Where Malcolm and Brenda asked for bacon butties. However, yeah, he said he had no bacon. That was comedy gold right there. And last time I also forgot to mention the theme song, "What Does He See in Me," sung by Emma Ray. A great theme song. And series 1 has a different version, an early version used in the credits. However, there are various other versions of the theme song used in episodes such as the feature-length specials. Anyhow, moving on to series 6, Brenda gets a job at the Grapes, which the Grapes has a massive redesign. Actually, weirdly enough, like it already gets a redesign anyways at like towards the Uncle Bernard era. Yeah, Brenda and Uncle Bernard go into the Grapes, and then yeah, it's all like French themed and stuff, and then even Harold's changed his name to Pierre, which is very very odd. Anyhow, moving on to series 6, um, this guy tries to do stuff to Brenda, like I think he tries to pull her or something, and then she ends up throwing a glass at him, and then he ends up trying to retaliate. But luckily his Scottish friend Jonathan, um, backs her up, and then basically Brenda's met someone new, Jonathan. She isn't really too keen on him until they kiss, and then Malcolm, coincidentally, who is with his wife Lucinda, which they have a house of their own and a cat called Spinoza. But yeah, Malcolm's life is clearly not great. He's a lot more miserable with Lucinda, and he was the one who told Lucinda it always rained when Brenda was about. Well, no, it didn't. He was just exaggerating. Here's the thing: Malcolm gets really, really, really dumb, like later on in the series, and I find that a bit odd. But oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Towards like half of series 5, towards near the end, well, pretty much the end of the Uncle Bernard and Auntie Peggy era, Brenda just walks out because everyone's arguing with each other. She's trying to talk to them, and then she just walks out. And then she ends up going to her mother's house, Joyce, played by Noreen Kershaw. And then we also get introduced to her little brother, Gerald, played by Andrew Hilton, I think. Yeah. And then, she gets a completely new haircut, and Malcolm's the only one who actually appreciates her moving on and stuff, and you can tell he still loves her, and he regrets marrying Lucinda. Yeah, I'm not too keen on Lucinda, but I guess Jim wanted her to be as dislikable as possible. She's always like, Malcolm, and all that, and like, it gets on your nerves, it gets on my nerves, it gets on everyone's nerves. And yeah, Brenda's she's annoying, but like, she's just Brenda in a mischievous way, because she's just her and she gets away with everything. Nah, I'm joking. Well, moving on. Also, in series 1, she mentions she has a younger sister, which I forgot her name, but in the 3rd episode, she borrows a helmet. Brenda does, and we never get to hear about her again, which is really odd, and that continuity I don't really like, but Anyhow, moving on to the end of Series 6, which Series 6, it has some funny moments, but I really love the latest series, but at the same time, I just feel like the characters are being a bit cold. You get what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm just not really good at describing things in words, but yeah, Malcolm gets a little bit more stupider, but Brenda's matured a lot, and I really like her in the latest series. I think she's great. Anyhow, towards the end of Series 6, Lucinda invites Brenda and Jonathan round to dinner, round to her Malcolm's, and Pamela and David, which Brenda and Malcolm been seeing each other, like, privately, trying to meet up and stuff, which doesn't end up working. They kiss for a little bit, and actually, yeah, I remember now. Lucinda says to Malcolm that she's pregnant, and then Malcolm promises Brenda that he's going to tell Lucinda that he's going to leave her, but then she ends up breaking the news, and then announcing she's pregnant, and then at the end of the series we actually find out that it's actually Jonathan's kid. So Jonathan's baby. So Jonathan and Lucinda have been doing stuff behind Malcolm and Brenda's backs, and then they've just been doing mild little meetups. So they talk about it maturely like adults, and then they told the truth, they revealed everything, they admitted everything, and I really like that, and I really love what Lucinda and Jonathan did. Jonathan is a doctor, by the way, and he tells Brenda that immediately. But great news, Malcolm and Brenda are back together, and there's a really nice fourth wall joke at the end, which I'm not really too keen on fourth wall jokes in sitcoms like Watching or Only Fools and Horses, which Only Fools and Horses have never had one, but in shows like The Young Ones, Filthy Rich and Cat Flat Bottom, you know. But this show's only ever had one fourth wall joke and actually really worked, so I think you should definitely watch the last episode of Series 6. And yeah, you can see the fourth wall joke and hope you have a little giggle with it as well. So Malcolm and Brenda are back together. They announced the news in the episode afterwards. Malcolm's hoping to divorce Lucinda. Series 7, the Wandering episodes. I know lots of people didn't like them, mostly, well, the Watching fans. However, I didn't really mind the episodes. Terry luckily came back, and, Pamela has an affair. Brenda, yeah, she's just hoping the best for the wedding, and the others back in the UK end up like just I forgot where Pamela and Brenda went, but doesn't really matter here. They go on holiday, go abroad. That's all I can tell you. I can't really remember because yeah, I still enjoy the episodes, just not as much as the others because Pamela's having an affair with David, but their marriage is a bit rocky. Also, at the end of Series 5, Pamela gives birth to Zelda, which is her second daughter, so that's really cool and lovely and sweet and just, yeah. But anyhow, they play this silly card game, which they end up having to take their clothes off, which is really odd. But, you know, there's a new character, Julian, which I don't know his purpose, and I don't really care, to be fair. He's probably the least important character, and then Malcolm ends up having a go at him and in the final episode. And, like, throwing the telephone onto the ground and he ends up all smashed onto the ground, and yeah, the audience are like, ooh, and all that, which is fair enough, yeah. He ends up breaking his telephone, you know. He needs to sort things out with Lucinda, you know, like sort the divorce out and get her out of his life, which that's what Brenda wants, but Brenda keeps getting irritated about all these letters about the divorce, and Malcolm really needs to deal with them first, and then he can focus on Brenda, which he ends up doing. The final episode definitely makes up for the Wandering episodes. Brenda actually, like, just before the Wandering episodes, she ends up proposing to Malcolm, which she's previously declined Malcolm before, but Malcolm said yes, and then, yeah, final episode they get married. It's really sweet. Luckily, Marjorie and Brenda make up, and yeah, the final episode just makes up for all the meh that this show went through. Like, I didn't mind the Lucinda and Jonathan thing. I didn't mind Joyce and Gerald. I didn't mind that Oswald stopped appearing. Cedric and Harold, they still appeared, obviously, and they were at the wedding. Harold walked Brenda down the aisle, and yeah, Terry, you know, he was supposed to be best man, but David ended up being best man. But Terry made it to the wedding, and yeah, it's really sweet. They end up staying on a barge, and then Gerald tries butting in but fails, and then yeah, it's a really nice ending and just a great episode. Just love the final episode. I was like, yay, Malcolm and Brenda are married, and yeah, I really love this show. I love most of it, you know. I keep saying that, but it's true. It's like, yeah, this show's amazing. Jim Hitchmough, great writer. So many funny moments in this show. I've just been watching these clips here and like just been grinning and stuff. Anyhow, I'm not great with words, but Watching's amazing, underrated. You should check it out, and it is one of the best British sitcoms of all time. So, yeah, if there's anything I've left out, please do let me know. And if you're not happy with how I'm reviewing stuff, just let me know. Please do. Anyhow, just letting you know, my favourite episode is probably the dining episode from Series 2. And my least favourite episode, probably Wandering Part 2, I think. Yeah, that's when this show was in a sticky phase, and yeah, there were some pointless episodes, but I still had a few great laughs with those episodes. I think the first 4 series were the best, especially with Terry, Oswald, Harold, and Cedric appearing nearly every episode, and yeah, I just loved that. There's a few additional characters here and there, a few little cameos. Sarah Lancashire appeared in an episode when she was when she was in her mid-20s, before Happy Valley and whatnot, which I've not seen. However, I might watch that show. I don't know. I've heard she's done really well in that show, and so has Lisa Tarbuck. She's done great. Paul Barney's been in a few recent things. Emma Ray, she's moved on with her life. She's stopped acting, and yeah. John Bowler, I don't know what he's doing now. And the other actors. Unfortunately, Patsy Byrne passed away in 2014. She played Nancy, aka Bernard, in Blackadder too. If you love Blackadder, you'll probably love this show. To be fair, her character's very different, but hey, it's still Patsy Byrne. Patsy Byrne's amazing. She was in an episode of In Sickness and in Health, the sequel series to Till Death Us Do Part with Alf Garnett. And yeah, I have nothing more to say about this show. It's perfect. Well, the early series is perfect. The late series, still really good. But nothing's perfect, but still just wow. Jim Hitchmough, he's a genius at writing. I think he's done a bit more writing in the past before. I can't remember, but for soap operas and stuff. Yeah. He wrote scripts for a couple of soap operas, and I think that's how this show gets like its dramatic moments. So I class watching as a sitcom drama because like Malcolm and Brenda, they're not always getting on, and but they still love each other at heart, and they'll always try and do the best to rekindle because they love each other's families, and they just love each other as a whole. Despite their differences, they work perfectly, little and large, basically. But anyhow, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been my review of Watching, the second part. And if you want to see me, if you want to listen to me do more voiceover reviews, let me know. Anyhow, thanks once again. Take care. Peace and love. I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.